Right, as promised, here's the transport section. Doing this on the same day so that there's no, you're not waiting. So basically, this was pretty much what was used, what I was shown, different variations, but this is based on the same concept. There was one different, which I've done a diagram for here. Right, so we've got tubes which are almost seat human shape, or whatever. They would be human shape in our case. So you've got concrete tube, your buggy in it. The only moving part is the door, and that's you get in underneath your house, or if your house is already underground, just via a door. Lift up the door, get in it, there's a seat in it, sit in it, no other moving parts. On your mobile, you say where you want to go. Now the system knows where your mobile is all the time. So if you've got to go out of your driveway, onto a B road, onto an A road, then onto a motorway, then off again at the other end, that would all be done underground. And if you can imagine different speeds of air running through the tubes. So you've got slow speed to come out of your driveway, a bit faster on the B road, a bit faster on the A road, and the maximum speed on the motorway. Now, I've got no idea what the speeds were, but they were, I was under the impression it's around, on the motorways it's around 2,000 miles an hour. Which means it would take hardly any time. And these went, in a particular planet they kept showing me, with the hot side and the cold side, there was a band around the middle, and they had like an 8-lane tube system all the way round. So you just joined it, carried on round, until you can get off, or back the other way until you want to get off. Now, so what we got is, the simpler the better, just concrete tubes for a mile, say. Don't know how long it was, but seemed to be, you know, because I really didn't have anything to relate to on the planet. If there had been a dog there, or something that I knew was our dog size, I would have known how big these things or how small they were. Well, I'm suggesting that if they're the same size as us, we're talking about a mile. So here we've got a mile of tube, one way, one the other. One way, one the other. So you've got northbound, say, and southbound. And then you've got these blocks like this. And what they are is a valve and compressors. Now there'll be in the tube you come to, there'll be holes at in different places, so that the buggy only hits one every now and again, so you're not hitting them all at the same time, basically. And that puts the air back through the compressor, the other side of the valve, and then back up the tube again. So that's going that way, and that one's going that way. Now, what happens is a sensor down here somewhere will open that, or they'll know your mobile's coming, and they'll open the valve. Now, if the valve doesn't open, mechanical fault, your buggy will push it open, because it's about 50 or 60 feet long. So, and it's at an angle, so it will literally open, and then the valve opens slowly like that. And it's sort of the shape of the tube. So it closes, the air pressure the other side hits it, and then goes down the tube the other way. This one comes in and goes through the compressor and back out the other side. And then when your buggy comes, that opens and goes straight through, shut again. Now, if there's nothing in this tube, the compressors can switch off. So not running all the time. If it's a busy section, you might have a bigger compressor. You know, much more powerful compressor, obviously, for the but they're not always running unless there's something in the tube. And then, right, what happens is when these two need maintenance, they slide the whole block along, and I'll put ditto marks there, so I couldn't be bothered to draw all that, but the next two come into line. and that can happen on the fly at any second. As soon as they realise something's happened, or the computer detects a malfunction, they will detect how many tubes are coming down, or how many buggies are coming down. As soon as there's a gap, they'll go zzz. So it's instantly back to normal. Then whoever will be alerted on their mobile, oh, they've taken a course in fixing these things, and the job comes up on their mobile, and they say, right, go. Somebody presses the button who is in that job situation, and they go straight there. Yeah, so that is basically all it is. Now, when you're miles out in the woods somewhere and the tube is running underground, some of them were solar powered, and what they did, they had a solar panel every so often, or what the equivalent of solar panels, which is the one I saw was a tree, and it had rotating leaves, but the leaves are also little solar panels, and you can unclip these if they went wrong, get a new one out of a packet and clip it on. So it's like a tree, and if you want more power, you added more branches. Simple as that. But they rotate, the leaves rotate for the generator, and they've also got solar panels on for when there's no wind. That was impressive, you know. I've tried to incorporate that. I've told the Project X boys about it, and they put it on the website as a project. So, but nobody's done it yet. So you're quite happy you can carry on and do it. They'll just look like a tree, basically. You can even match the tree type to the wood it's in, you know. But as you know, even when there's not much wind, the branches are waving. So yeah, no, what this is, so there's your solar source. There's a capacitor which gets charged up. When a sensor detects that or your mobile is detected, it'll fire that coil and propel your buggy this way. So it's like a magnetic propelling coil, a bit like a railgun. And we all know that the military have produced railguns now that can fire something at 10,000 metres a second, 10 kilometres a second. If you look on YouTube under railgun, you'll see how powerful these things are. A little buggy with somebody in it is going to be no problem. Now, they even showed me a machine that built these tubes. And what it was they dig a big trench, they put the machine in it, a bit like our tunnel boring machines, but it's behind. Yeah, it's making the concrete tubes behind, and as it moves along, it's got like a big profile metal, the profile of each tube, extending back from the machine so that it can move forward as the concrete dries in the right shape. And then all they do is just keep adding sand and cement, and this thing keeps moving along. I don't know whether there's any, I'm sure that I didn't see any reinforcement of any type, so they must have built it big enough and the concrete tube thick enough to last for a long time, basically. And then it was coated in something, and then the earth was filled in behind it, and that was it. If it had to go through a hill, then it would be like a tunnel boring machine, whereby they'd build a big tunnel, build the concrete tubes in, then fill in the tunnel behind. So it's all easy. But like I said before in the government section, that is going to take a long time to build. But if you want to do more than 600 miles an hour, like as you know, airliners have probably got to their maximum speed now. You know, it takes a hell of a lot of fuel and rubbish to get up there, hell of a lot of fuel and rubbish to get to the destination, then come down again. So, you know, and all you're doing is 600 miles an hour. You know, it's getting ridiculous. That they've been around for 100 years now, airplanes, and they keep falling out of the sky. You know, and the amount of resources wasted to try to get you off the ground to your holiday destination in this at 2,000 miles an hour, you get to Corfu in 1 hour, or Greece in 1 hour from England. That's, you know, the speed will be unlimited. The speed is limited to the amount of air you can shove down the tube, basically. But all the compressors and that were all run off solar, really. So that's pretty much the transport system. Certainly my favourite bit. I sat there asking a lot of questions about that, and there's lots of others to it. Like, for instance, the machine to build it. We were a good half an hour on that, I reckon. That was quite impressive, although it was quite small. You know, it's just like a moulding machine, really, with a vibrating bit on to get all the air out of concrete, like we've got that here. So physics is physics, isn't it? You know, you can't really change that. And obviously they had equipment on them, probably to do with lasers, that made the tubes absolutely dead straight. So, there was another one too. You got a fault line. What they did, they built a big cabin either side of the fault line in the rocks. Okay, you see that? Yeah, cabin. There's the fault line. There's the surface. There's your fault. It keeps moving. There's nothing we can do about that. And what they'd done, the tubes come in this end. They'd slowed the airspeed down, and it was like a pivot with a like a bridge inside, so that could move as much as it liked. But this you'd go bang bang over the two joints in your buggy. But apart from that, it's you don't have to rebuild the tube for quite a long time, because it takes those faults obviously go in millimetres or inches. If they suddenly went, say, a foot, you've still got a big 20 or 30 feet space for that to move a bit, or go up or down or whatever, or left or right. So that was the bridge going past the fault line in rocks, which apparently one of the planets needed a lot of those. But you have to slow the buggy down, because if you're doing 2,000 miles an hour and you suddenly change direction, you're going to be smeared up against the wall of the buggy. So that had to be down to 30 or 40 miles an hour, I'd say. But yeah, they showed me that. Compressors, how the holes were put into the tunnel, the shape of the buggy. Obviously you need it as small as possible, so you don't need so much air. I would have said laid down and have a round tube, but that would be too claustrophobic. Now, on your mobile phone, obviously you've got all your entertainment, so you've got plenty to do. There's a newspaper on there like they are now, there's all your music, there's video, everything is on, so you've got no excuse for nothing to do. But you obviously, if you're just going shopping or something, you're only going to be in it a few minutes, you know, and you're not going to hit anyone or do anything like that with your car, or don't have to watch the paint job. You know, there's nothing you need to do, and you get your buggy when you're 18, free. That comes with that, you actually get that without any. It's part of your 18th birthday. That I'm saying 18 because that's what we do in this country. Or you know, that's what the age you would get to. I'm not saying 18 there because I don't know how long the years are or anything. But when you become independent and of age on any one of those planets, you get accommodation, your transport. Your mum and dad give you your mobile unit, which was given to you on the day you were born. It has all your medical history on it, everything you've ever bought, all the courses you've passed, is all on the mobile. Nobody else can see it. Ever. The only time anyone gets to see it is if there's a misdemeanour of some sort. But you can't steal anything off anybody because there's no money. You know. But you'll see how the money free system works. That's quite impressive too. I don't think I'll get to that today, but I'll certainly like to have a go. So that's pretty much it. Hardly any air transport. All the stuff on water and on any old transport system was fully preserved on all these channels, on all these places. In fact, if you you actually had the choice, there was one that kept all its old transport, and the beings could say, yes, I'm going to go in my old dad's so-and-so vehicle today, and you could go back on the normal road. They were all preserved. And if a hole appeared, you photographed it, put it on your mobile, and somebody said, yes, I'll do that job, and came along and did it the next day. Now, if nobody puts... The other thing is with the mobile, but I'll tell you about that in the mobile device. If nobody says, I'll do that job, the percentage to go to your centre of excellence goes up a bit each time. I can't say it adds on units because the system is completely fluid, but I'll tell you about that later. So there's no fixed units as such. If all the jobs are done, you automatically go 100%. Everyone goes to their centre of excellence or holiday or whatever. Or restaurant. Restaurants selling good food, that is. Most of the... again, that's a sliding scale, food as well. Depending on how greedy we are, depending on how the good food everyone can have. If everyone gets greedy, it starts to go on to the centre of excellence rather than be free. See what I mean? So transport, yeah, that's it for today. Amazing system, really incredibly high speeds, and you can go to sleep. While your bug is doing 2,000 miles an hour, you can go to sleep. And they're only concrete tubes, which can be dug up and recycled. None of this big Ferrari with a massive engine, and you know, although they're all still there and at the centres of excellence, and if you show in the centre of excellence that you're really good at looking after a Ferrari, they let you have to take one home free. But you've got to know all about it first. You can't just buy one and crash it in a second, you know, because of resources on most of these planets are now very, very, you know, sort of short supply. Okay, I think we've had it there. 18 minutes, yeah. Right, I can't think of anything else on transport. Like I say, all the air transport was basically going out of the planet as a mothership or a probe or some sort of anti-gravity assisted craft. But you know, you could get round the planet with one of the probes that I saw, probably in, I don't know what kind of speed, 10 or 20,000 miles an hour. But depending on what atmosphere you're in. Dense atmosphere, you heat up. Heavy atmosphere, you'll heat up. But yeah. Right, thank you very much. That's transport. If I think of anything else, I'll do version 2.